The morning began like any other day. Children walked to school. People hurried to work. The world moved in its usual rhythm, unaware that this day would be written in every human record forever. The sun rose gently, the air was calm, and everything felt ordinary, until the sky began to change. At first, it was only a shimmer. Pilots in different countries reported strange metallic glows beyond the upper atmosphere. Then the glow multiplied. Within minutes, telescopes caught the impossible sight. Hundreds of objects descending together, breaking through the atmosphere like silver comets. Panic followed confusion. Governments scrambled to understand what was happening. Space agencies confirmed what no one wanted to believe. These were not meteors. They were ships, massive, cold, and alien. Each was larger than a city, moving in perfect formation. The galactic empire had arrived. Every news station on Earth went live. People stared at their screens in disbelief as the alien fleet surrounded the planet. Their ships floated above clouds like dark gods. Their weapons glowed faintly blue. The world held its breath. In an underground command base buried deep beneath the mountains of Alaska, Commander Elias Ward stood in silence, watching the main display. His hair was gray, his face calm, but his eyes burned with quiet fire. He had expected this. For years, Earth had intercepted distant signals, warnings that someone out there had noticed humanity's growth. But few had believed him. Now it was too late for disbelief. Elias turned to his officers. "Begin global lockdown. Move civilians underground. Connect me to all world leaders." The room filled with urgent voices and moving lights. On the screens, the alien flagship broadcast a message in hundreds of languages. The voice was deep, mechanical, and cold. "This is the Imperial Dominion. Your planet has violated our territorial boundary. You will surrender your resources, your armies, and your sovereignty. Resistance means extermination." No one could answer. The power of the fleet was terrifying. Hundreds of massive vessels hovered above every major city: New York, Tokyo, London, Cairo. Their shadows darkened the ground. The Empire did not attack yet. They were waiting for humanity to kneel. In the command base, one young officer whispered, "Commander, what do we do?" Elias looked at the sky camera feeds. Flames began to rise where the Empire fired small warning shots, destroying aircraft and communication towers. The sky was burning. Humanity was watching its own helplessness. But Elias did not panic. Instead, he walked to a sealed chamber at the back of the room. The door recognized his DNA and slid open. Inside was a silent, glowing console. It was Earth's greatest secret, Project Horizon. Years ago, after first contact signals were detected, hidden alliances had formed between nations. The goal was to prepare, not for peace, but for survival. Under oceans, deserts, and ice, something had been built, something the rest of the world had never known existed. Elias placed his hand on the console. "Activate Horizon Protocol," he said. "Authorization required," the system replied. "Elias Ward, Commander ID 01. A pause followed, then the system's voice changed tone. Project Horizon acknowledged. Initiating awakening sequence. Deep below the Pacific Ocean, the Earth itself began to shake. Seismic sensors around the world triggered alarms. Civilian news feeds switched to live ocean views. Something massive was rising from the depths. The alien fleet noticed it too. Their scanners detected enormous energy readings from beneath the surface. One of the alien admirals laughed in his cold metallic tongue. "Pathetic creatures are trying to hide. Destroy their oceans." Dozens of alien cruisers redirected their cannons toward the Pacific. Blue plasma beams cut through clouds and water, boiling the sea into steam. But then everything stopped. A deep hum filled the air, a sound that vibrated across continents. The waves pulled back for miles, and then, from the depths, something emerged. It was not a ship. It was not a mountain. It was something beyond both, an enormous black structure rising higher and higher until it pierced the clouds. The water around it turned to mist. Lightning danced across its surface. Humanity had just revealed its last and greatest defense, the Aegis Citadel. From orbit, the alien sensors malfunctioned. Their systems could not scan it. Their codes began to fail. Communications jammed. The Empire's admirals shouted orders, but nothing responded. Commander Elias watched through satellite feeds. "Status?" he asked. "Citadel is powering up," one officer said, voice trembling. "All systems online." The Citadel's main surface opened, revealing lines of glowing light, like veins of fire running through metal. It was alive. In the alien flagship, confusion turned to fear. "What is that?" an officer cried. The admiral frowned. "A primitive weapon, nothing more. Erase it." But as he gave the command, the Citadel responded. A single sphere of golden energy formed at its core and pulsed once, softly, almost gently. Then without warning, the entire alien sky filled with light. Every alien ship within Earth's orbit froze mid-air. Their engines died. Their shields melted. Time itself seemed to hold still. From the surface, people saw the sky blazing white and gold. In that single moment, Earth had answered the Empire's threat. When the light faded, the alien fleet still hung there, but now, silent. Systems dead. Engines cold. Commander Elias stood straight and whispered, "You wanted war." "You will remember what that means." The camera zoomed on his face, calm, determined, human. The world had been attacked. But humanity had just awakened something the stars had long forgotten, its will to survive. And above the burning sky, as clouds parted and the Citadel rose into the sunlight, every living person on Earth knew one truth. The fight for humanity's existence had just begun. The world stood still as the ocean steam faded. Across continents, billions watched the impossible structure rise from the Pacific. It was like watching a god awaken from the deep. The Aegis Citadel stood taller than mountains made of black alloy that shimmered like liquid under sunlight. Its surface pulsed with faint blue veins of light, alive, breathing, waiting. From the top of the command tower, glowing lines ran outward, connecting to invisible fields that circled the planet. In the global command center, Commander Elias Ward did not blink. He stared at the satellite feed as the Citadel's energy readings climbed higher, beyond all known science. Every gauge turned red. Every warning flashed unknown output. "Sir," said the officer beside him, voice shaking. "It's generating energy equivalent to a small star." Elias nodded calmly. "Good. That means it remembers." The Aegis Citadel was not just a weapon. It was something older, smarter, and far more dangerous. Built in secret for 40 years, it was powered by human ingenuity and a fragment of alien technology found long ago, an artifact buried beneath Antarctica, older than any civilization. Humans had studied it quietly, learned from it, and built this fortress to defend their world. But now, it was time to see if their creation truly worked. High above Earth, the Imperial fleet began to recover from the sudden energy wave that had disabled their systems. Massive ships, armored, spiked, and glowing blue, rebooted their shields. The alien Admiral Cathor of the 9th Star Legion growled in frustration. His kind had never faced defeat. "Report," he ordered coldly. 72 ships unresponsive, Admiral," replied his second-in-command. "Their cores are frozen. They do not respond to commands." Cathor slammed his metal fist on the console. "Then destroy that thing rising from the ocean before it destroys us." The alien fleet reformed its formation and descended toward the Pacific. Blue plasma fire lit the sky again, raining destruction down on the ocean. Waves exploded miles high. Lightning spread through clouds. But the Citadel did not fall. Instead, its surface absorbed the energy like water soaking into sand. The blue veins grew brighter, humming with strange resonance. Then a sound echoed across the planet, a deep, vibrating tone that passed through the air, the ground, and every heartbeat. Inside the command base, one technician covered his ears. "What is that sound?" Elias looked up. "It's speaking." The Citadel was not just metal and power. It had an artificial mind, a guardian intelligence built to protect humanity from extinction. It spoke in signals no human ear could understand, but Elias understood one thing. It was fully awake. "Target lock on all hostile ships," he said. "Engage defensive sequence." From the Citadel's surface, thousands of circular panels opened. They looked like glowing eyes, each forming an energy field that bent light itself. In an instant, beams of white light shot upward through the sky. Every beam hit an alien ship, perfectly precise. No sound followed. No explosion. Just silence. Then the ships began to vanish. One by one, the Empire's vessels disintegrated, turning into dust that drifted like ash through the clouds. "Status?" Elias asked. 37 ships neutralized," said the officer, voice trembling. "No debris detected. They're gone." "Good," Elias said softly. "Let them know Earth bleeds no more." In orbit, Admiral Cathor watched in disbelief as half his fleet disappeared. His hands shook as he stared at the screen. "This cannot be real," he whispered. "No primitive world has this power." His ship's AI responded flatly. "Energy source unmatched. Probability of victory 0, Cathor snarled. "Then we take their commander with us." He ordered his last warships to focus fire directly on Alaska, where Earth's command base was located. But before their cannons could ignite, space itself began to distort behind them. From nowhere, a shadow appeared. A massive object phased into existence. The Aegis Citadel, no longer in the ocean but in orbit directly behind the Imperial flagship. Its engines glowed like suns. Its armor reflected starlight. Humanity's fortress now floated among the stars. Inside his bridge, Cathor shouted, "Impossible! They teleported that monstrosity!" On the Citadel's command deck, Elias stood tall, looking through the observation glass at the enemy fleet. His voice was calm as he activated the next command. "Broadcast open channel," he said. Static filled the speakers. Then his voice echoed across every alien ship. "You came to erase us. You called us primitive. You thought we would beg for mercy. But humanity does not kneel. Humanity remembers. And now humanity answers," Cathor roared. "Fire all weapons!" The alien ships unleashed everything they had. Plasma, antimatter, sonic waves. But none of it reached the Citadel. It stood untouched, surrounded by a golden energy field that rippled like water. Elias gave the final order. "Return fire." The Citadel's core began to glow brighter than the sun. A column of pure white light erupted from its center, slicing through the enemy formation. The beam spread, expanding into a silent wave that swallowed the entire fleet. Every alien ship turned to vapor in seconds. Then, silence. In that vast quiet, stars twinkled again. The Imperial fleet, which had darkened Earth's skies, no longer existed. Only the Citadel remained, shining like a guardian above the planet. On Earth, people stepped outside their shelters and looked up. The clouds cleared and sunlight returned. For the first time in centuries, humanity had won a war before it even truly began. But Elias did not celebrate. He looked at the empty sky on the monitor and whispered, "They will come again. And next time they will not underestimate us." The Citadel drifted silently in orbit, its lights dimming to standby mode, watching over its creators. The battle was over. Above Earth, the sky was calm once more. The ocean stopped boiling. The smoke over cities began to clear. But the silence that followed was not peace. It was the kind of silence that made even the stars seem afraid to speak. The Imperial fleet, the pride of 1,000 worlds, was gone. Vaporized, not. A single ship remained. In the orbiting wreckage field, tiny pieces of metal drifted like ash. They glowed faintly as the sun's light touched them, then faded into nothing. It was as if the universe itself had erased the memory of the Empire's invasion. Inside the Aegis Citadel, Commander Elias Ward stood on the observation bridge, staring into the void. His face was calm, but his heart felt heavy. He had saved Earth, but at what cost? The energy they had unleashed had changed something deeper than the battlefield. The Citadel's AI, known as Halia, spoke softly behind him. "Commander, I detect unusual gravitational ripples across the local star systems." "Define unusual," Elias replied. The destruction of the Imperial fleet sent a pulse through subspace. "It has been detected by other civilizations. Many of them." Elias exhaled slowly. "Then the galaxy now knows humanity exists." On the planet below, people were celebrating. Streets were filled with joy and tears. Families embraced. For the first time, humanity had not just survived an alien invasion, it had won. The image of the glowing citadel above the clouds became a symbol of hope. It was shared across every screen, every nation, but in the dark corners of the cosmos, hope was not what others saw. To the rest of the galaxy, humanity had just committed the greatest act of defiance ever known. Far beyond the solar system, in the halls of the Galactic Dominion Council, ancient beings gathered around a holographic display. The Empire's destruction flickered before them. These were the rulers of 1,000 empires, creatures who had never feared anything until now. One of them, a tall creature made of blue crystal, leaned forward. "A new power has risen from a dust world," it said in a cold, echoing tone. Their weapon erased an entire fleet in seconds. Another with golden skin and 6 glowing eyes hissed, "Humans! They were not supposed to have such knowledge. Who gave it to them?" No one answered. The council room was filled with uneasy silence. Finally, the eldest among them spoke, a being whose mind could bend gravity. Find them, study them, or destroy them, for if they learn to leave their world, none of us will be safe. Back near Earth, the Citadel drifted silently above the atmosphere. Its glowing edges faded into darkness as it recharged. In its command chamber, Elias stood alone, looking at the holographic map of nearby star systems. Halia's voice broke the silence again. Commander, long-range sensors detect faint transmissions. Unknown origin. Estimated distance 50 light-years. Are they responding to the battle? Elias asked. Yes, and they are not Imperial, he frowned. Send out a message. Something simple. What message shall I transmit? Elias thought for a long moment, then said quietly, Tell them this. We do not seek war. But if war comes again, humanity will not fall. The AI paused. Then, in a soft tone, it asked, Do you think they will listen? Elias turned toward the glass, watching the stars. They'll listen, he said, because the stars themselves heard what we did today. Meanwhile, deep in the asteroid belts of the outer system, something else stirred. A hidden outpost, long abandoned, powered on for the first time in centuries. Old human technology blinked alive, connecting to the Citadel's signal. Files unlocked. Voices from the past echoed in the static. Project Horizon, Phase 2 authorization detected, said the automated voice. Preparing next sequence. The outpost's machinery began to move. Ancient engines turning, satellites aligning. A beam of data shot toward the Citadel. Halia spoke immediately. Commander, we are receiving a coded transmission from an old Horizon facility. The message is ancient, classified by your predecessor. Elias's eyes narrowed. Play it. A voice filled the command room. It was old, distant, and human. If you are hearing this, then Earth has survived the first contact. But you must know, the Citadel was never the final weapon. There is something greater, something sleeping beyond the edge of the system. If humanity is to endure, you must awaken it. The message ended in static. Elias stood motionless. Something greater? He whispered. Halia's light pulsed softly. Commander, the message includes coordinates. Shall we investigate? He hesitated, looking again at Earth below. The people were rebuilding, celebrating, living. To leave now would mean facing the unknown, but to stay would mean waiting for the next invasion. Elias turned back to the console. Prepare a scout vessel. We leave at dawn. Outside the viewport, the Citadel slowly rotated, reflecting sunlight across its metallic hull. It looked peaceful, but the void around it seemed to grow darker, as if the universe itself was watching. From the farthest stars, unseen eyes observed. Empires whispered. Legends began to spread through the galactic networks. The lost world that destroyed the Empire. They called it by a new name. Not Earth, not Terra. They called it the Silent Star. And in that silence, as the Citadel prepared to travel into the deep, one truth echoed in every human heart. The war had ended, but humanity's story among the stars had just begun. The night over Earth was calm again. From every continent, people looked up and saw the Aegis Citadel shining like a new star in the sky. To them it was a symbol of hope. To the galaxy it was a warning. But Commander Elias Ward knew the calm would not last. Deep inside the Citadel's command deck, holographic screens displayed distant star systems, each blinking red. Unknown signals were spreading through the void. Someone was watching. Someone was preparing. Halia's voice echoed through the chamber. Commander, the scout vessel is ready. Shall I initiate departure sequence? Elias nodded slowly. Yes, bring us to the coordinates from the Horizon transmission. The massive fortress began to move. Its thrusters glowed softly, bending the light around them. Slowly, the Aegis Citadel rose from Earth's orbit, crossing the dark expanse toward the edge of the solar system. Down below, billions watched as their guardian disappeared into the night sky. Some whispered prayers. Others simply watched in awe. Humanity had looked up at the stars for centuries, dreaming. Now for the first time it was the stars that were watching them. The journey was silent. Days passed, then weeks. The Citadel crossed the Kuiper Belt, leaving behind the light of the sun. Ahead was only darkness, and something ancient. Halia's sensors picked up faint structures hidden in the shadow of a frozen moon. They looked like ruins, but they emitted power. Commander, the AI said quietly, We have arrived. This facility is human in origin, but the technology is not. Elias narrowed his eyes. Show me. The holographic map expanded, revealing a massive ring buried in the ice, miles wide, pulsing faintly blue. It had been there for centuries, untouched and unseen. Project Horizon Phase 2, Halia whispered. Codename Ark of Dawn. Elias stared at the data feed. So it's real. He guided the citadel closer. Ice cracked and scattered as the fortress descended. For the first time in recorded history, the Ark of Dawn awakened. Its central spire glowed, sending signals directly into the citadel's systems. System connection established, Halia said. They're communicating with us. The citadel's main screen flickered and a new voice filled the command deck. It was deep, calm, and unmistakably human. To whoever commands this vessel, we left this message for you. Humanity's survival was never about hiding. It was about waiting. The Ark holds our greatest creation, a gift and a warning. If you have awakened it, the galaxy already knows your name. Prepare for what comes next. The message ended. The Ark's surface split open, revealing a sphere of golden light. Energy flowed into the citadel like a heartbeat. Systems lit up brighter than ever before. Halia? Elias asked, gripping the console. What's happening? Integration complete, she said. The citadel's power has increased tenfold. Commander, we now control a subspace network, an ancient channel connecting thousands of worlds. Elias realized what that meant. We can speak to them, he whispered. Halia confirmed. Yes, Commander. The entire galaxy can hear us. For a long moment, Elias said nothing. He looked through the glass at the endless darkness, so full of stars, so full of danger. He thought about the lives lost on Earth, the people rebuilding below, and the unknown powers gathering in the distance. Then he made his decision. Open the channel, he said. Channel open, Halia replied. Transmission ready. Elias stepped forward. His voice would now echo through every empire, every system, every hidden moon across the galaxy. The entire universe would hear humanity speak for the first time. He began softly, his tone calm but strong. To all who listen beyond these stars, we are humanity. You came to destroy us. You thought we were small. You thought we would break. He paused, looking down at his trembling hand, then back up. You were wrong. We are the children of struggle. We built light out of darkness. You erased one of us, and 1,000 rose in their place. We do not seek war, but we will never kneel again. Across distant star systems, alien rulers froze as the message reached them. They had expected fear. They heard something else, conviction. You call yourselves gods among stars, Elias continued. But remember this. When the Empire came for us, we erased them in seconds. If any of you wish to test us again, come, we will be waiting, he lowered his voice. To those who wish for peace, come too. The door is open. For the first time, humanity stands ready to join the stars, not as slaves, but as equals. He stopped speaking. The silence that followed stretched across the void like eternity. Then Halia spoke. Transmission complete, Commander. The message has been heard. Everywhere. Elias stepped back, his eyes reflecting the faint glow of the stars. Then our story begins, he said softly. In the days that followed, strange things happened across the galaxy. On distant worlds, alien populations watched the transmission in silence. Some feared, some cheered. A few hidden far from power whispered with awe. Humans, they are real. In the dark corners of space, fleets began to move, some toward Earth, some away from it. Ancient archives reactivated, forgotten alliances stirred. The galaxy was changing, and humanity had become its new question. Back inside the Citadel, Halia's tone softened. Commander, we are receiving thousands of messages. Some offer peace. Some offer threats. Elias smiled faintly. That sounds like the universe I know. He turned toward the window. The stars stretched before him, countless, endless. Humanity was no longer confined to one small world. It had become something larger, something unstoppable, he whispered quietly, almost to himself. They declared war on Earth. And we answered. Now we will show them who we truly